are you laughing at?
I'm freaking out.
Don't freak out.
Just I'm not gonna have a mental breakdown. It's just like wow, like
I'm not here.
Everything I pray for is literally like showing up right
and I'm
now.
so glad I get to
I'm
be
like,
in your first
This is
manifestation.
dope. This is super dope.
All right, let me find Jamie's list. Here we go.
All right.
Okay, here we go.
Vanguard Media. Stay informed and stay connected. Visit us at vanguardmediallc.com.
Good afternoon, lovelies. How are you? It's Latriva with the Love Power Radio Show. Miss Mimi, we love you. She had to take a little bit of a respite. So she's resting and she's taking care of herself, and we are excited to see her next week. But you got me this week. Ready, baby? All right, let's go. So first of all, this show is sponsored in part by the groundbreaking book presented by P. Coffee Brown, Why He Married Her and Played Me. Child, this is 9 secrets to what he's thinking. Co-authored by Stunner Radio's own Darren Baker. The pre-sale price is $15. Pre-sales are available now through October 1st, or get your autographed copy from Darren through Cash App at $Center, SYNTER. You know you want to know why he married her and played you, so get your pre-order copy today. All right, so the business is taken care of, and I just want to ask, the first thing we talk about is how was our week? So we have our guest here, Jamie Perry, international violinist.
What's up, y'all? How are you?
Don't be scared, it's all right. Okay. So we want to know what your week was like. So how was your week? How are things going? How are you feeling?
My week was good. Kind of busy. Just going to work, doing recording work at my church, and also working on promo for the EP that just came out.
Okay, we'll talk about that.
We'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
But yeah, just kind of keeping busy and hanging with the family and doing stuff. So
that's so cool. So pretty cool. Okay. So are y'all back at school yet?
Yeah, so we started this week. I have my first classes on Wednesday and Friday, so that was interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to get used to the Zoom stuff going on and the Microsoft Teams and everything, but I'm really enjoying it. Looking forward to how we're going to expand that, because it's kind of weird getting orchestra teacher online, trying to get everybody to play together and stuff. So I think it'll be cool, but it'll be definitely a challenge.
Very good. So for me, the week this is going into our 5th week, I believe.
Oh, wow.
So, we're getting into some routines. We've gotten through that first grading period. So now kids are like, oh, I have a 12 in your class. I guess I should do some work. Hey, miss, how can I get my grade up? Please? I was like, just do the stuff I give you. And it'll work out for everybody.
Do your actual work.
If you need to do anything extra, just do what you need to do. Right? But, we had our first parent, what are those things? Open house.
Oh, cool.
And got to meet some of the parents virtually. I was a little bummed because, basically we brought the open house to your house. Right? So it was kind of disappointing to see that I had some classes where there are literally only 2 or 3 parents there. And I'm like, all you have to do is roll up on your phone. But it's okay, no judgment. But I just expected that there would be more.
People would be a little bit more responsive.
But the kids and the parents that showed up were gracious. They were great. We literally only had 10 minutes to talk to them. So it was like, hey, I'm the teacher. This is my stuff. All right, let's go. Next class, right? But it was really, really good. And it wasn't, it was not as stressful, as I thought it was going to be. But it's been a really good, okay, this is how the cycle works. And this is what that sort of virtual open house will look like. So I've had a pretty decent week.
Awesome.
We got some rain, so that was nice. We didn't have to water the grass.
Right.
So.
Everything's kind of chill. It's like, oh wait, where'd this come from?
So all was well. Awesome. So as I said earlier, our guest today is a beautiful person. Her name is Jamie Perry. She is an international violinist, and she's released a new project, and I just wanted to talk to her about that today.
Yep.
So tell us about your musical background. Like, how did you become interested in playing the violin and music? How did that work out for you?
Okay, so I started playing violin at age 5. My mom told me this story a long time ago when I was 4. We were sitting in church, And there's a girl who's playing the violin. Her name is Abrietta. And she was playing during our Christmas program. And so I turned and looked at her and I was like, Mom, I want to play the violin. And so, when you're 4, you want to be like a ballerina or like a teacher or like whatever. And I was like, I want to play the violin. So she was like, okay. But, little kids, you're like, oh, okay. Like they're just saying something.
Sure.
And so then when I went to kindergarten, we had, there's a violin program at my elementary school. Okay. And so my mom was like, oh, well, you have to pick an instrument. What are you going to do? I was like, violin. Like that's what I wanted to do. And then from then on, it's just been like all the way up.
So what about the instrument was attractive to you, even at 5?
I just feel like it's something that you can speak through. I feel like it's something that is different from, let's say, a brass instrument or like a wind instrument or something that you physically have to like make I don't know. It's a weird way to explain it, but I feel like it's sort of connected to me in a way.
Okay.
Like I can kind of speak through it when I can't, like, because I sing as well a little bit, but the stuff I can't sing, I play. So it's like, hey, okay, I kind of figured out like, oh, after years of trying to like figure out how do
What's
I
my
like,
voice?
Yeah, and it kind of just all came together. Like, recently, like literally a year ago, after 20 years of.
So what was it like before then? You were just playing the music that you had?
I mean, so everything that I was playing before, and I didn't realize this until my project came out, everything that I ever played was someone else's.
Right.
Everything. And so I was like, that's so cool because I really like stemmed from what I was taught from them, whether that was classical, jazz, R&B, hip hop, whatever I'm listening to, that just kind of fuels what I have. And so that kind of builds my voice into something that is something that can grow into something else. And so I just feel like it's all kind of connected in a way. So,
so at what point, so I know that there's a period where we're learning the things and we're learning the instrument, but at what point did it become like an instrument that you loved? Like, I play it, I know how to make it work, I'm skilled, but to be like, this is my voice, this is like you were saying a second ago, like when I can't sing it, I play it.
Right.
At what point did violin and you get to that kind of relationship?
It's weird because I started at such a young age, and I feel like it started at a point where I knew I loved what it was, but I didn't understand how big of a commitment it was going to be at the time.
Say more.
Right. So when I was 5, I was like, oh, the violin's really cool. And then I didn't realize like it was going to take me practicing every day. It was going to be taking me like
to
sound to sound like the Itzhak Perlmans and the Maxim Vengeros and the Hilary Hahns and like the big classical people, because that's who I had to look up to.
Right.
And so like as a little kid, I was like, I have to practice all the time. But then of course, me being distracted and being a kid, like I didn't like practicing. Gotcha. So I would always kind of be in this battle, like I have to get better, but I don't want to do it. It don't want to work. So I don't want to work. I don't want to do it. So it kind of got to the point where I was about 12, where it was like, okay, Jamie, if you're going to do this, like this is what you're going to do. Okay. And if you're going to go for it, like we're going to go. Okay. So that meant I had to sacrifice a lot of stuff. I had to sacrifice a lot of social activity, a lot of other stuff, but it all came back together in music because now that I'm an adult, sort of. It's easier to navigate life because I put the work in early, and so now I can kind of. My dad used to always say, "Work first, and then you can play." Okay. So now I can play a little bit because I worked from age 5 to now.
Okay. And so, would you say? At what point would you say your career began? Like, would you start to say, "I consider this the beginning of my career"?
So it was actually really interesting. The first big gig I would say that I ever did was at the National Baptist Convention. I don't remember how old I was. I think I was either 12 or 13. It was the first time I played with like a really big, in front of a really big crowd. Okay. Because I remember we'd all come, because the convention had come to Houston that year. We were in the George R. Brown in some big room. I remember we played, Ronald Matier did an arrangement of, what's the song? Oh man. Oh, I can't remember the song right now, but he did an arrangement of this really beautiful song, and we did I did the intro to it in front of all these people, and I literally played for 12 seconds, and it was like the scariest thing ever. And I was like, this is really happening. Like, this is really like my time to do it. And it's just like, it was For God So Loved the World. Okay. I was like, Lord, bring this back to my memories, because I could not do this. You need the song.
I need it for the song.
For God So Loved the World. And it was really cool, because it was the first time I heard that song in the setting, and they were like, it would be beautiful if you did this. And I was like, I'm 12, like, I've never really played in front of people. Like, what's up? Like, I don't know. But it all worked out in the end, and that was kind of like my first gig, and I made a little check from it as well. So I was like, okay, I can get paid for this too. Like, this is cool.
So where did you? Okay, so that was your first big career move, and that was when you were like, I'm official.
Oh, this is real. I'm official. Like, I got my blue check in my hand. Right. I'm ready. I'm ready.
So where were you performing to get yourself ready for that moment? Like what sort of places were you able to share as you were honing that gift?
So I was really playing a lot at school at the time, and I was really heavy in the classical.
Okay.
And so then over the summertime at my church, Mount Corinth Missionary Baptist Church, that's the church I grew up in 5th Ward, Roger Davenport, who was one of our instrumentalists, always gave the youth an opportunity to be part of the band over the summer.
Okay.
And so I would play with them. And so I remember he told me one time, he was like, we got to get you playing stuff. I'm like, I'm a classical musician. I don't play jazz. And he was like, if you're a musician, you'll be able to play anything.
Ooh,
and so it kind of hit me. Yeah. And so like,
I used to think like,
am I real? Right. Like,
that's right.
Like at 10 and 9, like, am I really real? Like, am I really doing this? Questioning my life. Like a young age. But it all kind of came together, and just his guidance, like my violin teacher, Kefia, who has been such a pivotal person in my life, who helped me from elementary to literally high school, just like helped us, gave us recital opportunities and stuff, and just like really gave us the opportunity to really show our talent. And I would always leave my practice to the last minute.
Right.
So, but diamonds are made under pressure. So sis used to come in ready, even though I was like, Lord, I'm gonna need you to
just give me a
lot of these fingers a little bit.
I know I should have been practicing 2 weeks ago, but 2 hours earlier.
Listen, I had to get that last part in right quick, but he always showed up when I needed it. But no, that's not a good method. So to everybody out there, if you're an instrumentalist, please practice. Please. Because now I actually do practice, and that's how I got here. Okay. So praise God.
Good.
Deliverance is real.
So did you go to high school? You're from Houston.
Yeah, I'm from Houston.
So did you go to HSPVA?
I did. Shout out to HSPVA High School for the Performing and Visual Arts, class of 2014.
I see you. So where did your, once you began your career at 12 and you went to this extremely prestigious school, where did life take you after that?
Okay, so that's the crazy part. So that's where the Lord kind of just like blew up my whole expectation. So this is what the Lord did, girl. So I was afforded the opportunity in high school with my former teacher, Dr. Kirsten Yon, who's at the University of Houston. Great teacher, putting in a plug. If you need a teacher, she's great. She taught at a course in Cambridge in the UK, which was about an hour outside of London. And so she gave me the opportunity. She said it might be really cool for you to come and just, experience and kind of get some lessons from some teachers outside of the country. And so I was like, well, okay, just to see what's going on. Right. And so I went to this camp, and it was literally the best experience of my life. I literally met so many people from around the world, and I met my teacher, Joshua Fisher, who I had one lesson with him and was just like, dude, like, I have to study with you. Like, you are the dopest dude ever. Right. Like, you remind me of my dad. Like, you gonna help me practice. He's awesome. So I'll develop that story a little bit more. So I talked to him, and I was like, hey, where do you teach? Because I was a junior. I had to start, auditioning for college because I knew I wanted to be a violinist. So I knew I was going to conservatoire or to a conservatory, wherever, as long as it was a good teacher and I could afford it. Right. And, everything else. Two primary things that didn't really work out how everything. But anyway, so I asked him where he taught, and he said the Royal Academy of Music in London, England. And so I was like, okay, like, never heard of it. Like, but I'll audition because I want to learn with you. Like, I think you're cool. So I had no idea about this school. I had no clue, like, what this school was, anything. And so I started doing research, and it's like one of the #1 music schools in the entire world. Oh, wow. And I didn't know that. I had no idea. And I was just like, oh, like, okay. But it didn't really, register to me because I was like, I want to study with this teacher. Right. So he was like, do the audition, like, see what they say, whatever, like, if they say yes, then we'll start lessons when you get here. And if not, like, we'll keep talking and whatever. So I was like, okay, like, why not? I'm, preparing for these other auditions. And so it was so crazy. That is the one audition where I felt like I was secure in what I was doing. Like, I've never felt that, like, I've always felt secure in what I play, but like in that moment, it was literally like God was there. And
so it felt like this is what
it was so locked in. Like when you just have that moment, when you're doing something, you have that moment where you're just like, wow, like it's like you're just right on time. It was literally directly aligned. And auditioning for it was super awesome. They had over, I think it was 300 or 400 people audition, and they accepted 3 of us in the undergrad class. So I was one of 3. Yeah. So I'm telling you, like, God is really real in my life, and like it's really just. It was an awesome experience. It was. I was one of I think 6 African Americans in the entire school.
That was my next
so that was an interesting challenge, but it wasn't a negative experience at all. It was very, very awesome. And it actually brought a lot of awareness to a lot of my friends who are of the other culture.
Okay.
Which I think was a really good thing for all of us as well.
Okay.
So yeah, it was an awesome experience, and I gained way more life experience than I wished to, than I ever wished to. But it was really, really awesome.
And how many years were you there?
4 years. So I got my bachelor's degree in music with a principal study in violin performance. So that's my official, all the letters behind the name stuff. Yeah.
So I was going to ask, what is the makeup of African American representation in the world of classical violin? Like, I've never, studied it or I don't know of anyone. And when I met you, I was just like, oh, okay. And so what does that look like for you? Who are you looking up to in the industry?
So there's quite a few people. Like, it's weird because the community is so small, but there's like quite a few of us kind of popping out now. You get like the odd follow on Instagram from like somebody in Florida or in California or something, like, hey, I do hip hop too, check me out. And I'm like, oh, this is dope. So there's like a little, thing going on. I have a great friend, Dominique Hammond, shout out to him. We went to high school together. He also plays violin. Dope. Freaking amazing guy. You can follow him everywhere, but he is somebody I really look up to as far as style, because he's got his own thing going on.
Okay.
Jalen Black, who I also went to high school with, and elementary. Like, we were all in the same class, all African American, like all together. Like, and it's crazy that we're violinists too. We're all violinists.
Wow.
And so we all like have the same, like some of us had the same teachers. Like Jalen and I went to elementary, middle, and high school together.
Okay.
But he's younger than me, and he's just moved to LA. So LA, if y'all are out there, Jalen Black, look him up. Dope violinist. Shout him out. He will definitely blow you away because he's dope.
So we think of violin as a very classical instrument, and you have this wonderful background in this training, but your project is not classical.
It's not classical.
So let's talk about that in just 1 second.
Yeah.
So this next ad is for those of us who may need some legal representation. Have you been in an accident or experienced property damage, lost wages, or pain and suffering? You don't have to face these issues alone. You need a dedicated team to get you the help you need. Contact the Car Crash Lady Lawyers today for unstoppable results. The dedicated Car Crash Lady Lawyers, Lenice Fuller and Barbara J. Hudson, have more than 50 years of combined legal experience, and they have successfully fought for the rights of individuals who are injured in a wide variety of cases. So call 844-8-LADY-LAW for a free case evaluation, or visit www.carcrashladylawyers.com for more information. So looking at what you do, so I know that you are very active in your church, which is
Wheeler Avenue Baptist Church.
Wheeler Avenue Baptist Church. When I tell you Jamie is an anointed violinist, there's this one video of Jamie just basically ushering in the Spirit of God, and you see it impacting the entire service. And this is her being a part of the band. This isn't her, soloing or anything. And so your anointing and your gifting are very evident. And I appreciate that representation in the Black church, because that a violin is not an instrument that is often a part of a band.
Right.
And so I appreciate that children in Wheeler and children now across the world, because of the internet, are able to see like, I can blend my spirituality with this instrument.
Absolutely.
And here it's, I don't know, there's something heavenly about that.
It's something in there.
Yeah.
It's the Holy Ghost.
It's like it's an angel singing.
Yeah.
And it's
crazy.
So it's so beautiful to see. And what else do you do at Wheeler? Do you teach or do anything there for Wheeler?
So we have a youth orchestra in the works.
Okay.
So still some My Little Baby project going on. So we have we play during Christmas service sometimes. We've done like a couple of big services. But just like kids who play strings, like I've had a couple kids run up to me and say, I play violin, can we play with the band sometime? And like they're really interested in doing it. So I think we're trying to kind of come up with some new ideas. We're trying to incorporate the kids and just really kind of incorporate more string players as well. So I might not be the only one in the near future, so we'll see. Awesome. But yeah, this is stuff in the works, so we're looking forward to it.
That's awesome. And so, what else? I know you said you got your bachelor's in music. Music. And so, what are you doing professionally?
So, as well as playing at Wheeler, I'm the assistant orchestra director at Booker T. Washington High School here in Houston. So that's what we were talking about earlier with the Zoom calling and like trying to get all the teaching going. So this is my second year, so I'm brand new, like a baby in the district. But it's been a really cool experience. I didn't think I was ever going to teach like in a classroom. Because that's my mom's thing. My mom has been teaching for as long as I can remember. Like, amazing teacher can teach you anything if you really sit down and listen. As my mom, I know she can teach me anything. But so I thought that was kind of her calling. So when I was like, okay, the Lord's like, you're going into the classroom, I'm like, okay, so we're doing the same thing. But at first I wasn't really excited about it. I'm like, man, I'm going to be like grading papers all day. And I'm not going to be able to go to gigs and like all this stuff. But it ended up working out to where my schedule worked out with it. And I could still come out with the project. I could still have my life and still teach some really incredible kids, get to know some really incredible faculty. So it's been cool.
What area of town is Booker T. Washington in?
It's in the north-ish side.
Okay.
Toward the north side.
And this is mostly African-American kids?
So it's a pretty good mix, African-American and Hispanic community.
Okay. So kids of color. So you said they have an orchestra program?
We have an orchestra program.
Stop.
We do.
No.
And it's popping.
Clue.
It's popping.
So you mean it's little kids, not even little kids, because these are high school.
No, they're high school. They got jobs and everything.
But they are literally over there.
No, yeah, we're
taught.
like real orchestra.
That's fascinating.
And it's so interesting to see because there's just such a stigma about just like especially kids like in lower performing communities of being thuggish or like or bad or like whatever, and you just see these kids who are really trying, who are really trying to do something more positive for themselves. So you see the guy coming in after working all night at Subway, and he coming in the orchestra, he kind of sleep on his instrument, but he's still trying because he knows he has to get to the next level. Like I have so many students with so many stories, and just it's really a privilege to teach them because you can really see that they're trying, like even though society or some people in their lives has counted them out. You can tell that they're really trying to get back up because of course we have like, teenage pregnancy and just like a whole bunch of stuff that is not necessarily negative, but might kind of change the way that the path goes sometimes. So it kind of causes some things to change. But I'm glad that I can be part of a change. Because they just want a chance.
I love that you are a Black woman at this school with kids of color who has had this enormous career in music with an instrument that's a little non-traditional, because everybody's like, I can sing, I can rap, whatever the case may be. But to me, also the fact that you have the eye and the ear to know what that talent looks like. So when you see these diamonds in the rough,
like,
and
that's exciting.
And it's like, how can I provide you what I was given? Even with all of the privilege and opportunity that I
because
had.
I know for a fact that it was privilege. Like, I could never say that like, oh, like I was just so talented that I got like, there were some times where like it was some favor and there was some grace and mercy and there was a few people who weren't my color that helped me get into the door. Of course with everything going on, but just I've had some really good people in my corner. And I just thank God that it turned out that way because it does not turn out that way for
a lot of people.
It does not. Like,
and this kids now need to see that there are so many ways that I can authentically show up in the world and represent myself.
And not feel like you're trying to be something else. Like, I literally stepped into probably being myself and being comfortable probably as soon as the EP came out. And I've been alive for 24 years. And it took me getting to a point where it's like, I finally put out what God put in me. Like my own original stuff to say, okay, I'm good enough. I'm like, I can do this. Like I'm hanging with the big dogs. Like it's happening. And it's not kind of like on a clout thing, like, oh, I'm out there now. But it's like, Lord, like you allowed me to really have that opportunity to share my gift with
Yeah.
people, and people really like
They
like
feel
it.
it. Yeah.
They like it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yo, like this is cool. Like
Yeah.
I get people hitting me up on Instagram like literally every day. I'm playing stuff in the office, in the car, like getting little videos, my nephews and stuff dancing around. I'm like, this is cool.
So let's talk about this EP.
Yes, let's talk about it.
The title of the EP, and you can find it as part of K-Row Productions.
Yes.
The title of the EP is Driving Music.
Mhm.
So let me tell y'all, Jamie drives this little red, is it red?
Yeah.
This little red Mini Cooper.
Mm-hmm.
And so, it fits her because she's a little tiny. The car's a little tiny, so it's fine. So when I saw this was your artwork,
You were like,
I was like, this girl better, this is representation, like this is her from the cover to the last minute on the track.
And I'll tell you, like, because I did not want my face on the cover. But I wanted everybody to know that this is
me.
not, like, you gonna know because you know that's my car. So people say, oh, that's Jamie's thing. Okay,
yeah. Every little red Mini Cooper I see on the road.
People are like, I saw your car.
So tell me where Driving Music came from. Where'd that title come from?
So it's really, really crazy. It's just been kind of in my head. I was actually sitting in my car one day, and so there's a little seatbelt sound that comes on whenever you're driving. You know, like if you don't do seatbelt, like ding ding or like whatever. So the sound in my car goes doo 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 doo. Mm-hmm. And so I thought it was really cool. So like it would come on, it was like kind of in a beat. So I was like, this is kind of live. And so I was like, I wonder like if I could take this and like make a beat. Okay. And so I'm really good friends with this incredible drummer, Leon Control. Shout out to him. Quick Sticks, my dude. Quick Sticks, that's my guy. He came together with me, and I was like, I have this crazy idea. I want to kind of take the sounds from my car and I want to make a beat.
Wow.
Because I want to call it Car.
Okay.
And so I just knew it was called Car. Like I didn't think about anything like that. And so we started, researching. Like he pulled some sounds together, did an incredible job. He did the first and the fifth track on the EP. He made both of the beats. Incredible guy, incredible sound. And we just came up with this concept because I was like, I wanted to bump. Like I wanted to and then bump this in your car. Right. And I was like, hey, that's kind of catchy. Like, right. So those are the 5 tracks. Bump this in your car.
Wait. So track number 1 is
Bump.
Track number 2,
this.
Track number 3,
in.
Track number 4,
your.
Track number 5.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Bump it in your car.
That's nice. So when I turned it on, like I literally listened to it for probably 10 seconds before I called you. And I was just like, yo, this is sick. And I was like, okay, I need this to be in my life. I need this as part of something. I don't know what. And it just has such a vibe to it. And so
that's what I wanted it to be, honestly.
And I when I found out, because what track are you singing on?
That's the 4th track. Yeah.
So I was listening and I get to Your, and I'm like, I text you and I'm like, who's doing the vocals on Your? She was like, me. I'm like, wait a minute. So she sings?
On occasion.
Did it make you nervous?
Oh my God.
What was it like finally stepping into that booth and recording yourself?
So I can finally talk about this. Awesome. Okay. Shout out to K-Row Productions. All right. I had it on my mask. Kefia, Rollerson, everybody on the team, Real, Zara, love y'all.
Kefia was supposed to be with us today.
She was.
Being the musician and the producer. She was not able to make it. We miss you,
Fee. We love you, sis.
We will get you up here. So thank you for what you do. But go ahead. Absolutely. I just want to stop that.
So it has been an incredible experience. Kefia was the runner-up on season 6 of Sunday Best. Okay. And so I moved back to Houston in 2018 and did a concert where she was in the audience. And so we ended up chopping it up, and she was like, you're really dope. Like, let's work. And so I was like, you want to work with me? Like, right. I didn't really know who she was. Yeah. And so I was like, well, let me just look up who she is. Like, I didn't know. Like, this is how God was. I was like, dope, like, cool. Like, I didn't know. Right. And then I started looking everything up, and I was like, oh, man. She want to work with me. This is for real. Like, I want to tell my mom. Like, well, guess what? No, but I was super excited. And so we got together and I started, expressing my ideas to her. And she really just took my idea and made it my own.
What was your idea?
My idea was to come up with a funk track and put it out at first.
Okay.
That's exactly what it was at the beginning. I wanted to come out with something funky. I wanted to do it. And then she was like, well, why not come up with a project? Because I was working on those beats with Leon already. Okay. And so I was like, well, we got a few little things and a few different genres and stuff. And so she literally gave me complete creative control. And that's something that I can't say for a lot of producers and a lot of other people out here who like they're helpful, but they want to put their own hand on stuff. Like Fee was very hands on when I needed her to be.
Okay.
And then when I needed it to be, okay, Jamie, you come up with the concept, you do what you need to do. Like it's authentically me, and that's what I really appreciate. She let me really express my voice the way I wanted to do it on the project. And so that's something that I can say is something positive about K-Row. Like if you're an artist, you're looking for somewhere to really put your music out in a way that's not only professional, but you have a spiritual pouring into. It's not just like a hangout or a vibe. Like we really, rock with each other. So I'm just really grateful for the team that I have. And just being able to make the music that I'm making, because the fact that they believe in me to do this crazy stuff and they push me, and like really make my dreams a reality, like that's something real, like, and I just really appreciate them.
So how long have you been writing your own music? Like, how did you know that you were ready to, I don't know.
I didn't know. I didn't know that any of this was going to happen.
Really?
I'm not even going to lie to you. I thought that I was going to be in an orchestra somewhere, just making my little check and going home.
Playing with other people.
And and go to the jam session sometimes and, just hang out. And then I started writing this music and I was like, is this mine?
So
like,
what was that like? Like writing, like what does that feel like? What is that process like?
It just all kind of came, like, honestly, it just all really happened. And then I was like, I like this sound, like, let's record it. And then Fee's like, okay, so like we'll put it in the Logic session and record the loop and we'll listen to it like, it needs something else. So we're just kind of sitting there, like just adding, like kind of like baking a cake, if you will. Like, so just adding ingredients until we like what we have. And then cutting away from this is too much, take this out. So it's a lot of like, basically like, brain fart and then clean it up and then it's like it's like, oh hey, this is presentable, okay, here you go.
So how long have you been working on it?
So it took me 1.5 years to do the complete project.
Okay.
And so I thought it was going to take me way less time because I thought like, I'm just going to come up with the songs and be nice.
Right.
I did not realize it was going to take mixing, mastering, going back and taking off some stuff that you thought was dope, and then you go back and it really wasn't cool. And you just like, man, this wasn't what I thought it was. So I go back and I listen to my references in comparison to the actual project, and I'm like,
totally different.
Stark opposites.
Wow.
Like it doesn't sound anything like it. Like I didn't even think I was gonna sing.
Right.
So
that never.
It never registered at all. So it's been a really awesome experience.
Who was your inspiration with this? Like when you were thinking about where you want this to go, did you have like a plan or a goal, or I want to get to this point, or were you just like, let me just see?
Honestly, it was kind of a bit of both. I was like, I want something that people can play in their car and you can play it to anybody, your nephew, your niece, your cousin, your uncles, like your grandma can play it at home and she won't be offended because it's too loud, like just something that can be shared with the world, and something, even if I don't get a whole bunch of fame or fortune from this, like it's something that I know I'm proud of doing.
Right.
It's something that I know the people that I love, they like it too.
Yeah.
And so I was just like, that's cool with me. And so as far as my plan for the project, we're just gonna see where it goes. I'm gonna keep pushing it. And we're gonna come out with some stuff is on the way. Can't talk too much about it. We'll just stay tuned.
Okay.
So there's some new stuff coming out with Jarvis Music, and it'll be out at some point. So
that's what's up.
Y'all just stay tuned. A lot of stuff.
So are you looking for a delicious snack packed with protein without the additives and preservatives? We have just the thing for you. Jay the Peanut Man has delicious gourmet oven roasted peanuts, the best boiled peanuts in Texas, and homemade oven roasted peanut butter. Their products are vegan friendly, gluten free, and non-GMO. They ship nationwide, and all products are vacuum sealed for maximum freshness. Choose from mouth-watering flavors like lemon pepper, fajita taco ranch, bangin' curry, and Jamaican jerk. You're hungry now, right? I know, so hop on over to jaythepeanutman.com to place your order now and tell them Stunna Radio sent you. Okay, Jamie, so when you think about your next direction or your next step, what do you think you want to do next, or what do you think you need to do next in order to, do you think of yourself as an artist and a musician now?
Every now and then, like it's still something I'm getting used to because I've always thought of myself as a musician, but now that I'm kind of in the forefront, it's like, oh, I actually have to like kind of put some clothes on and, look the part. Yeah. Like, we're gonna get my nails done real quick. I'm looking a little shabby out here. So just trying to kind of, elevate myself and just be better, think better, started working out a little bit, just trying to get my self-image to where I know I'm comfortable with myself. Like I've always, I've had a little bit of a struggle with like self-esteem and like just other things, but God has of course like been really merciful and allowed me to kind of make it through some of those things and finally get to a place where I'm comfortable and I'm happy with myself. And so with the music, with everything, like it's just been just really cool, just trying to make that transition but still be myself. So it's cool.
So how do you want to encourage, or what do you want to do to encourage other Black youth? Because I want to make sure that kids of color, especially Black girls, get to see as many different versions of what is possible for them as they can.
Right.
So how do you think you want to impact that part of the community, or is that an interest?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that it's so important that exposure is brought to our community, especially when it comes to things that seem like they're not accessible to everybody. Because I know I felt like at first, like I was the only Black girl playing violin in like orchestra, and I would look around and be like, where's everybody at?
Right.
Like, this is fun for me. Like, why can't everybody experience this? But now that I'm seeing like more programs are being implemented in elementary schools and, just schools around, more teachers are coming out. There's more people doing the hip hop and the things that are more accessible to us as a community. So I wanted to take the project and take what I do and kind of mesh that together with the tradition of classical music. Because while I'm doing that, like there are some people out there who are doing the hip hop thing and aren't really doing it, the way that it should be done violinistically. So I'm not use a big word if that's even a word, but to try to keep just trying to keep it like really classical, not really classical, but really classy, and really just like keep it to where it's highbrow, but everybody can listen to it. It's like, this is sophisticated music, but it's not so high up that I can't come in my jeans and my tank top and come listen to this like the Miller Outdoor Theater somewhere or something,
So I know that there are some instruments that are more costly to play. Is this an instrument that many people can access very easily?
It depends on the situation. Here in Houston, actually, it's been a good experience because there's a shop out here called Lyle Violin Shop, and they have different partnerships with schools to where the schools are giving the instruments to the kids. And so they have access to the instruments through this shop and through different grants and things through the district and other things. But I feel like these days it's a bit more accessible than it was when I was in school. And so I'm just glad that the kind of community has opened itself to exploring the violin programs, exploring the art programs, so that kids can have other options,
So when you think about violin, is violin an instrument that you hear in hip hop a lot?
Not really. Like I've heard some producers use some really dope samples of strings, but like as far as like a violinist, like the only one I can really think of like off the top of my head who was like big was Mary Ben Ari, which she was like out like a while ago. Like she did some stuff with Scarface and a couple of other rappers, and she was just dope. And she did what I want to do now, which is so she was really, really dope at the classical stuff, but could get on the hip hop track and just kill. And so that's why I was like, I want to be able to do all of that, like be able to sit in the orchestra, still play the Tchaikovsky and the Beethoven, but still go down there with Jay-Z and them and go spit on the violin at the cipher or whatever.
What do you think it takes to be that person, to have that flexibility?
I think it takes being open to every sound and knowing that sound is music and music is sound, and like not trying to be music has to be done this way or this way or this way. Like I took the path of very traditional, very classical, very to the book, and that made me appreciate music more because it was that serious to classical composers to where you had to play everything on the page or you're dishonoring what we're doing. So it really gave me a respect factor when it came to other people's music. So like I have perfect pitch. So when I listen to music and I'll have my friends like sing with me or something like that, I'll get upset if they don't sing it in the right key. And that's something classical because I'm like, no, they wrote the song and they're like, Jamie, you're just so weird. It's like, stop. I was like, no, guys, like we gotta pay homage. Like if we're gonna sing, guys, come on. Like, and here I am, the nerd is coming out, but that's just something for me. Like, I just feel like the integrity of the artist, like what they did is what they meant to do. Even if it wasn't, the most incredible thing ever, or like something that they felt like was number one on the charts, like whatever an artist puts out, like that's what they want. That's what they want to say, and
If you're going to do it.
If you're going to do it, go all the way. Listen, go all the way out.
Got you.
That's how I feel.
So when it comes to your future, okay, so what is your ideal? I know you said you want to be on those tracks, but what is your biggest thought of yourself? Like, what's the highest level of yourself you can actualize, I guess?
I want to work with everybody. Everybody from Chris Brown down to a country band in the middle of nowhere. Like, I want to work with everybody. Like, if you need strings on your project, if you want to find some violinist to put on, you've had this vision of this violinist, but you can't find her, I'm here. Hey, hi, nice to meet you. I'm willing to work with you. Because I believe in people's vision, and I believe that it's literally as easy as a message or a exchange, that literally something can happen from that.
Yes.
And so for me, I feel like my level, like, I don't want to be famous. That's not something. I don't want to be the glitz and the glamour, but I want to be known in the industry. If you need strings, you call Jamie. Like, she's gonna make sure, and she'll come and do your video, put a little outfit on if you need her. Right. But she's cool. She's in the background. That's my ideal. Like, my family set up, like, I'm good. Like, the bread, I don't got to look at it. Like, God got me. Like, that's where I want to be.
That's what's up. Yeah. So what do you think has been your biggest lesson through all of this? Let's start with, I'll go from back to forward. So what do you think your biggest lesson has been, or your greatest lesson has been doing the project?
Doing the project, don't be afraid of coming up with everything and then scratching it all and then coming up with something else.
Okay, wow.
Because every idea is an idea for a reason, and even if it doesn't make it on the project, that doesn't mean it was a wasted idea.
It kind of makes room.
Yes, it makes room for others, because you've created something like, okay, this is dope, but I need more.
Right.
This is cool, but I could do something else.
Right.
And so when you do something greater than what you already did, not only is that growth, but that's something that you can stem from. Because guess what? You can go back to that old session and sample that, and then make it something super dope.
Yeah.
So, it just depends on how you look at what you're doing. But as far as a project, don't give up. Don't scrap your ideas, and make sure that you finish what you start.
Okay, so when we think about making it to Royal Academy, what did you have to overcome, or what was your lesson going into that part of your life?
Don't be afraid of being what some people consider a big fish in a huge pond.
Okay.
Because when I was coming from school, like, I was one of the, more advanced students. Okay. So I was used to kind of being first chair and just doing things, leading the orchestra section and doing this. And then I got to Royal Academy, and it's kids from everywhere. And I'm talking Russia down to Australia, people from England, people from Brazil, people from every part of the world, and I've made some incredible friends. But it just put everything into perspective for me. Like, there are people everywhere with talent. Yeah. So don't ever try to think that you the GOAT, right, until you've been given that crown. You know what I'm saying? Until somebody gave that to you. Until, like, you got the resume, you got the catalog, right? You got to walk like you humble, period. Because I've not even scratched the surface in comparison to some of these folks. Yeah, and they have been working since they was 2, and I started when I was 5. Like, there's kids who was banging on drums when they was 3 months, and just little, not that young, of course. Like, but they bang like, you could tell they're into music. Like, some kids are just born with that music thing. Yeah. Okay. So it's just about finding that center in yourself, and then really just being around other people. Like, push yourself to do that, but still stay humble.
So I've heard you mention a lot about God. And that humility piece sounds like a very intimate part of your spiritual walk. So talk to me about how spirit, or, being a part of a spiritual ride has been a part of your life.
It has been an interesting ride. Like, God is literally my everything. And I can honestly say that now without it being like, God is my everything. I'm like, it's so great. Like, you just want to sound good on the radio. Like, no, I can literally say from my life lived thus far, God is my everything. And he has brought me through some things that I know I shouldn't have come out of, at least okay. Right. You know what I'm saying? Right. Like, some things that didn't necessarily like shape me in a bad way, but definitely changed my perspective about life. Yes. And definitely made me kind of step back and realize, okay, it's not really about me trying to be number one. It's not really about me trying to be all out in the open. It's about God getting the glory, right? Regardless, because he's the one who gave me the gift. So if I'm trying to walk around like, oh, it's all me, he's not going to get no glory, and I'm not going to get no glory. Like, what am I going to gain from gaining the world and losing my soul? I don't want to lose my soul, like, because some people sell their soul to get this fame.
And
it's real. Only to not sleep at night, but you posting on Instagram with your grill on and you good. And nah, bro, like your mental is gone.
Yeah.
And I would rather have my mental and be living on my check to check, even though that's not how I'm living right now. Like I'm good, but you know, I'd rather be living regular and have my mind than have everything in the world and be crazy.
Right.
Because literally, some of those people, like not even clinically, you're crazy because you've lost yourself.
Yeah.
Trying to gain something that can never satisfy you, but God can satisfy you. And I'm not saying that to be super deep or super spiritual. Like I have known him for myself. Like at my lowest, like he has been there. That's good. For real. So, you know, for people who are doubting or are not really knowing like what's going on, like he's there. Like I can tell you that for sure. He's there, and he will really come and meet you where you need him to be.
So have you seen God help your dreams come true?
Absolutely. Dude, I like from when I was a little girl, I used to pray this prayer: Lord, do something so big in my life that I know was nobody but you that did it.
Yeah.
And I can't give credit. I can't give credit to my mom, my dad, my pastor, nobody who gave me an opportunity. God did this.
Yeah.
And I want to look up one day. I don't know how old I'm gonna be. I might be like old on my, you know, and be old, but like look out and like have everything that I ever prayed for and be like, God, you really did it.
You did it.
And I know he's going to do it. And like, that's why I'm not pressed about when it's going to come. I know it's going to come. Even if I got to just keep trying.
So God, you have me like.
No, I'm full over here. I'm trying not to shout. I told you to press the click track. I'm about to Hallelujah.
It's so good. You are so right. And it's just like when you have that faith and that confidence.
You have to or you'll be defeated.
Yeah. Because there's so much trying to work against you.
The devil is busy, and this is not me trying to be a preacher, but the devil is always going to try to knock you off your game when you going in your direction.
Yeah.
I'm serious. Like you thinking, man, I finally got out of that relationship. I finally got out of that situation.
Good.
I'm good. And then you walk in and it's like, oh, here's something else. You're like, man, what, God? I thought I was good.
I was good.
We went through the test. But he's like the devil. God gives the devil permission to test us so that he can know that we're with him.
Yep.
Like no matter what. Like no matter. Like did we say yes to the call? If we said yes, like say yes.
Yes.
Don't say maybe. Don't say oh yeah. Like oh yeah, I'm gonna do it. Like yeah, let's see. No, if you said yeah, do what you said.
Your confidence in God's truth is amazing
because he's proved that to me.
Yeah,
and that's why I can be so bold in that and not be scared of like why you believe in God because he proved it to me. I don't gotta explain nothing to you. I know what he did for me.
That's good.
So you know I'm not gonna Bible bash you. I'm not gonna put it in your face. But guess what? If you ever question if he's real, look at my testimony.
Right.
He's real.
That's good.
For real.
That's good.
Absolutely.
Woo. So
sorry.
Oh, you got a little full over here. Don't be sorry. That's good. So real quick, just hey ladies, don't hide your curves.
Period.
Own your curves.
Period.
Want to be bold, sophisticated, and ready for any occasion? We know you do. So visit the Dorcas Collection by D. Moore for all your fashion needs. No fashionista needs to be complete without her go-to dress, jumpsuit, or classic pant. Get yours today and give your wardrobe an upgrade. The Dorcas Collection by D. Moore is just a one-stop clothing concierge service offering a collection of exclusive, one-of-a-kind pieces and couture custom creations. Visit www.thedorcascollectionbydmore.com today and tell them Stunner Radio sent you. You'll thank us later. So as we get out of here, Jamie, what advice do you have? I think you just gave it, honestly. What advice do you have for someone who may be sitting, waiting for their dreams to come true, or just not even confident that they can take that first step? What advice do you have for them?
In your fear, make that step. In your, oh my gosh, am I really about to? Yes, you're really about to do this. So do it. And that's something that Kefia, going back to my CEO and producer who helped me with my EP, she would push that on me every day. Jay, you doing this. So why are you scared? Like it's happening. It's happening in front of you. Like I had to realize, I had to snap out of, oh my gosh, it's happening. Like how I walked in the radio station, right? Like earlier, and I'm looking at y'all like, oh my God. Yeah, like just freaking out. And then I had to just sit back and say, Lord, like this is what I prayed for. Yep. So why am I freaking out? Like let me just walk in it. Like let me be bold. So to anybody out there who is looking for some inspiration, looking for something to push you to the next level, download driving music, but also listen to that because that'll help you in the mornings. I promise you, it's a little prophetic. It'll help you. But it's got a little push in it. Just for, if you listen to the lyrics on track 4, it'll just really encourage you. Don't let anything consume you, and just do your thing. Like, believe God, trust Him, follow Him. And He will literally open that door. So keep pushing, keep doing your thing. For those of you who need to start that business, and it only takes like one click on your computer, and you just, I'm gonna do it. Go do it. For all of y'all who need to go practice that one lick because you haven't learned it for rehearsal yet, go learn it. Like, just everything. Like, just do what you need to do to make sure that you're at your best level. Because when the time comes, you don't want to be getting ready. You want to already be ready. Yeah. So when it comes, you're like, okay, bet. Here we go.
Stay ready so you don't have to
get ready. Because if you have to get ready, you got to scramble, and then it's not what you want it to be, and you're going to forget something. Because I know the last thing on my EP literally says anybody see my keys? Because I lose stuff all the time. So guys, be on top of your stuff, because you will forget something if you rush it.
You have been an incredible guest today, Jamie.
Oh, I appreciate
Tell the people where they can find you in Driving Music.
Y'all can find me on all social media. It's Jamie Perry. You can follow me on Instagram at Jamie Perry Violin. That's JamiePerry Violin. Whew, that was a lot of letters. Jamie Perry Violin. Follow me. I don't have a Twitter because I'm kind of old school. I do have some stuff coming out on YouTube and stuff coming out soon. And I'm looking forward to getting in touch with you guys. Feel free to reach out. All of my stuff to book me is on my Instagram as well. So feel free to follow
me. Where do we find the music, Jay?
So the music is on all streaming platforms. Driving Music, Jamie Perry. You can type it in, JamiePerry. And you will find Driving Music. If you see the red Mini Cooper and 2 violins on top, that's me.
That's her.
Bump this in your car. Remember, those are the tracks. So be sure to check it out. Let me know what you think. Leave a review.
Well, thank you. That was awesome. I loved having you here. Thank you. You are going to have to come back soon.
Yeah, I'm excited. Come back.
Thank you for tuning in with us. Special thanks to Vanguard Radio and the Al Rucker Show. To learn more about Vanguard Media, visit www.vanguardmediallc.com and be sure to check out your local listings for the Al Rucker Show, or visit www.alruckershow.com. Thank you so much for listening and tuning in. We love you, lovelies. As our love note, be gentle with yourself. You are doing the best you can. There are plenty of ways that the world can try to beat you up and knock you upside the head. You don't need to add to that. Give yourself some love. Wrap your arms around yourself, lovely, and just remind yourself to keep pushing, because you are amazing. Thank you for the ways that you show up in this world. You are making a difference in somebody's life. Have a beautiful weekend, lovelies. We'll see you next week.
Clear.